What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for being here. My name is Limbo, and I'm super excited to be here to introduce you all the best hour you have ever received in your entire life. This hour is jam-packed with hope, positivity, optimism, gratitude, the whole nine, baby. Just as beautiful as the sun is outside, just as beautiful as the person right here watching this. Pull up a chair, grab a couple shots, kick your shoes off, let your hair down, and get ready for the show, baby. I hope you guys enjoy it, because I'm going to enjoy it. Let's go!
Joseph Jaffe is not famous. I'm kind of famous. I'm Jerry Springer. And Jaffe is no host. He'd be lucky to be in my audience, let alone on my show. Well, maybe he's crazy enough to be on my show. I take that back. And that's not a good thing.
I just want you to know that I practiced this word about 20 times to make sure that I did not mispronounce it.
I have a question. Has anyone ever said with all due respect and then not followed up with a zinger?
His side of the bed. If I come in and I'm on the other side, he will move it. Yeah, that's it.
Which side do you like? With all due respect, you make a good point.
Cheery Oreos! Toasted Oreos!
Mute. He's muted.
I love what he's saying. He doesn't need sounds.
You're so small, squishing your head, Joseph.
You can.
Do it with me, Joe.
With all due respect, you really do look handsome, Bruce. Cheery Oreos! Toasted Oreos!
Look at you. You are insane.
How did I do that?
You're
How did I do
insane.
that? You just made the intro reel. Yes, you did. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is June 3rd. Can you believe it? Can you believe that we are almost in the middle of the year? Unbelievable. But it's time to do this. David Libby is here. Let's do this, says David. And I say to David, let's do this. Tonight is great for me because I pre-recorded my guest interview earlier today to an unlisted YouTube channel. And you can attend that if you want. If you are a Jaffe coin holder or a regular on the show, you can actually attend some of these pre-tapings. But I am live. It is 9:02 p.m. I'm always going to try and be live for you in the evening. Late Night Jaffe. Let's get on with the show. Today is National Love Conquers All Day. Of course, love always wins. Love always conquers all. Love conquers hate. And it is the way to go. And speaking of hearts, well, you know what's coming next. It's 19. 19 days to go for my open heart surgery. It's not actually open, it's a closed door affair. But yes, love is love. Love is nothing without Steve Garfield. And Manif is here. Good to have you guys. My regulars, you could have attended 12 noon today, but you wanted live. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm also grateful to all the people that have stepped up. I've now raised, believe it or not, just under $16,000 to, I guess, support myself, support the show, support medical bills. But every one of these has a benefit. Every single one of these rewards come back to you. It's paying it forward. Whether it's a shout out on the show, whether it's a cameo on the show, whether it's sitting backstage, whether it's sponsoring a show, whether it is actually having an entire show dedicated to you and your company, or in the case of David Berkowitz, that's exactly what we're going to be doing with these serial marketers. And I just launched a new one called Heart Transplant, where you can actually be the host of the show. You can be the host. I'll be in the background, recovering and rehabbing, pulling all the strings, but not the cords of my mitral valve, doing the camera work, even helping you with bookings, if that's what you choose to do. So a lot of exciting things to look forward to. The experimentation, finding a use case that makes me excited. And you can show your support by opening up an account on rally.io and then heading to my creator page, creator/Jaffe and contributing. And I do appreciate it. And so does the Mitral Foundation. I will be dedicating 10% of the proceeds to the Mitral Foundation. Tomorrow, well, depending on when you watch this, maybe it was yesterday, but I now have these amazing reunion shows in Clubhouse where I bring back my creators, I bring back my guests. And tomorrow we're just going to have a bit of a love fest with Bob Garfield, with David Berkowitz, with Simon Akello, with Queenie, with Six Footer, whoever, and hopefully Shakur can even join us tonight. So a lot of things to look forward to. Tonight, though, our guest is the very famous Michelle Seiler Tucker, the founder and CEO of Seiler Tucker Incorporated, and then an incredible performance by Shakur Nicely, aka Shaq's Nice. I am not worthy because I just heard him perform the song, a private showing, and it was spectacular. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. Let's do some birthdays, and apologies for cutting you off on the bottom, Eric and Judith Rose. But Tom Martin, Aaron Mikey, Jeremy Amber, Stephen Wolf Pereira today, and tomorrow, Friday, we've got Michelle Stearns, Rob Wolf, Todd Cochran, and Carlos Fernandez. Happy birthday to all of you. Well, I think it is time to get into the soliloquy. And that wasn't my heart. That was just a little bit of cat got my tongue. You know what the perfect thing is for what happens? Chris Brogan's here. He will tell you that when you get a little raspy or tongue-tied, the only thing to do is do what the doctor prescribed, which is have your obligatory glass of red wine for the night. So cheers to you. To life. L'chaim. And let's get into our seated soliloquy. As you will see in our interview, which will be coming shortly, Michelle Seiler Tucker talks about the importance of an exit strategy and accompanying roadmap as a business owner. In fact, she recommends that you come up with this exit strategy on day one. Jeff Bezos would agree, especially as his HQ building in Seattle is called Day One, and it was also the subject of his very first memo to shareholders. In fact, Michelle and I discussed Amazon and how at Jeff and Company answered 3 key questions. Number 1, what business are we in? Number 2, what are we really, really good at? And number 3, based on the answer to 2, what business should we be in? This is why Amazon is not an online bookseller. This is why Amazon is in the fulfillment business. But really, it's in the business of making it super, super easy to do business with. Amazon just purchased MGM, and it isn't hard to imagine a whole brick and mortar network of accompanying cinemas to completely vertically integrate the fulfillment of your next binge-worthy prime show. I'm reminded of something the very famous Rashad Tabakawala once said, despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly. Rashad was a previous guest on the show, and it's those words that sign off every show, including tonight's. Rashad is one of the smartest people I know, and actually, the insight I'm referring to goes along these lines. Who do you think will figure it out first? Amazon with bricks and mortar, or Barnes & Noble with digital? Well, I think we all know the answer to this particular riddle. To be in business today and to be successful in business today is to be able to begin with the end in mind, have a roadmap or plan to get there, and I emphasize the word and, the ability to adapt, change course, and yes, pivot throughout this journey. What we take away from today's lesson is that agility actually isn't enough. To use my survival instinct framework that I wrote in Built to Suck, you need both preservation and adaptation skills to survive, thrive, and exit rich. You need the very Zen-like superpower of balance, bridge building, crossover, equilibrium, flip-flopping. Yes, I said it, flip-flopping. Whether it is from the left to the right brain to the left brain, vice versa, rinse and repeat. You'll need to be jack of all trades and master of them too. Or at least you need to be better than your competitor. Well, now it's time to bring on our very famous guest, Michelle Seiler Tucker. She is the founder and CEO of Seiler Tucker Incorporated. And as always, we give you a little bit of an introduction to her. Michelle Seiler Tucker is the founder and CEO of Seiler Tucker Incorporated. She holds the M&AMI, which is Mergers and Acquisitions Master Intermediary title, as well as Certified Mergers and Acquisitions Professional and Certified Senior Business Analyst. That is a lot of titles and a lot of abbreviations. But as I said in my introduction, we could probably add dollar signs to it as well, because she helps people make a lot of money. Michelle also owns many other businesses in several different industries. As a 20-year veteran in the M&A industry, she's regarded as the leading authority on buying, selling, fixing, and growing businesses. I wonder if she could help me with mine. Her and her firm have sold over 1,000 businesses in almost every vertical and have a remarkable track record of success. Before we bring her on, I thought you might want to take a little look at this.
Michelle has sold over 500 businesses with a 99% closing rate and obtains a 20 to 40, sometimes even 60% higher selling price for her clients. Michelle is the she prophet, investing her own money, time, energy, and effort into growing businesses via her build to sell blueprint, which helps grow businesses to be sold for millions in just a few years. She makes regular radio and TV appearances and has been featured on Fox Business News, Forbes, CNBC, Inc., and USA magazines. And she's also the proud mother of her 7-year-old daughter, Arabella. Oh, so let's welcome up Michelle. Come on, girl.
And the crowds continue to applaud. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So now this is a first for me, because I've rebranded the show. It was now Joseph Jaffe is not famous, but my next guest is, of course, because my next guest is you, Michelle Seiler Tucker, and it is now at 9 o'clock at night. But in some cases, we do a bit of pre-taping, and the good thing is we have our regulars. So we have Glenn, who said a noontime performance I can attend. Yeah. And Tom says, I echo your words, Glenn. I'm glad to be here too as well. So we will get some comments throughout. But thank you for being my first pre-taping guest. And I will still be live tonight so that I can interact with people. I can comment. I can live tweet. Just boost the engagement. So are you ready to get into it?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Joseph. It's a pleasure to be with you.
You're welcome. So, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be thanking me when we start to divulge what we call fun facts about our guests, but you can rest assured that these are not too embarrassing, except for my very bad photoshopping. But, I love your background because you write poetry and psalms for fun. I've never met someone who writes a psalm for fun, but you do.
Uh-huh. I do. I love writing. I'm very creative.
Well, not only do you write, and not only are you very creative, so it's not just an effectiveness, but it's also efficiency as well. You like to write books in 6 weeks. So I'm not really sure how does someone write a book in 6 weeks? Do you just type very fast, or do you think very fast, or what is the method to your madness?
Well, it's a few things. Number one, I'm extremely disciplined. And I set aside a specific time. It's always the same time every time I go to write a book. It's typically between Thanksgiving and right after the first of the year. So I write during the holidays. I don't go into my office. I write from my home office. And I usually get up at 4 a.m. and start writing at 4 a.m. I typically don't quit till around 5 or 6 at night. And I take a few breaks in between. And I type every word in the book. And I do think fast. I do type fast. And I don't worry about it being perfect. I don't worry about editing. I go back and edit, and I go back and perfect it. But in the beginning, I just want to get my thoughts out of my head onto paper, and then I go back and edit.
Tom Morris says, I'll have to try that writing of Psalms. I've been worried my ideas already taken, like, oh God, why do the wicked prosper? Smite them, Lord, with something like a metal baseball bat or such. So maybe he's going to have to go to the Michelle Seiler Tucker School of Writing Psalms, but at least you're inspiring. I don't know what you're inspiring, but you're inspiring some kind of action. Michelle, it's very exciting because your new book, Exit Rich, is ready to enter. And by the way, one thing you'll notice with this nice little tiling is that I don't know whether this was intentional or not, but the greater than and less than sign little symbols actually make nice little X's when you tile them next to each other. Can you see that? How
I can see it. It looks awesome.
So that's just it's almost like the hidden FedEx arrow as well. But we're going to talk today about this book. This book is about to be released. In fact, it's going to be released June 22nd, which is also the date of my heart surgery. So if you think of me, I'll be thinking of you. I promise you that. But let's talk about it. So you have a track record, an amazing track record of building sustainable, scalable, and sellable businesses with your what you call your 6P model. And I would love for you to touch on the 6 Ps: people, patrons, profits, proprietary, product, and process. Tell us a little bit about them.
So let me start. First of all, let me start with a little bit of history, some statistics. First and foremost, Steve Forbes says 8 out of 10 businesses will not sell. 80% of businesses on the market will not sell. That's pretty sterling statistics. One of the number one reasons that businesses don't sell is because the business is 1,000% dependent upon the owner. The owner has created a glorified job in which they go to work at every day versus a business that actually works for them. So that's why the first P is people. Entrepreneurs need to focus on their strengths and hire their weaknesses. You don't build a business, you build people, and people build the business. So you need to have the right people in the right seats and ask the who question. Who opens the door? Who handles customer service, marketing, legal, accounting, manufacturing, logistics, environmental, etc.? The clue here, Joseph, is you should never be next to the who, because you really want to build the business without you. Buyers want to buy a business with a team in place, along with a management team. They don't want to buy a business that's dependent upon the owner. They don't want to buy a job. So people is first and foremost. And this is the biggest struggle, the biggest issue that I see in most businesses is that the business owner is working in their business and not on their business.
The statistic of how many businesses go out of business, don't even make it, small businesses, startups, don't even make it beyond year one, are obviously staggeringly higher. You talk about, I think you call it the STGPS exit model, planning your exit strategy from day one. So I would love for you to just chat about that before we go back to the other 5 Ps, because that to me is a significant comment. From day one, you've already got to be visualizing crossing the victory line. And that victory line, in your words, is selling.
Absolutely. And, Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. One of the biggest reasons that business owners are not sellable is because the business owner never plans their exit. The business owner never thinks about selling until an internal or external catastrophic event occurs. Internal is health issues, partner disputes, divorce, death, and external is this pandemic we're in right now. That's the worst time to sell your business is during a catastrophic event. So I work with my clients on the GPS exit model. First and foremost, Joseph, when you want to drive somewhere, what do? You pull out your phone, You go to Google Maps, and what do you plug in? Plug in your address, your destination, right?
Sure.
We plug in our destination. The problem with business owners is they don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Business owners don't have a destination. They don't think about selling their company until they have to. By then, it's too late. So we work with our clients to figure out, what is your destination? What is your end game? What is your desired sales price? And a lot of business owners get hung up on a number. Don't get hung up on a number. Just pick a number. Let's say you want to sell for $10 million. Boom, there's a number. You can change it along the way. The next thing the GPS exit model must know is where you're starting from. What is your current location? What is your current evaluation? What is your business worth today?
So I really loved this idea of the. I mean, I don't love catastrophic events, but I think that really what you're talking about is the unforeseen, the things that you don't anticipate, the things that you can't anticipate. I'm sure you're familiar with that old saying that says, that plan for the, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. And I guess maybe a business owner is so romantic, idealistic, hopeful, optimistic, all of these things, but of course, don't recognize that there is the inevitability of those challenges. And then there's the stuff that you could never plan for, like, to your point, 2020 and even parts of 2021. So beginning with the end in mind is just critical. Preparing the roadmap, right? Using the GPS, and obviously, your system is a model too.
Joseph, most business owners have never had their business evaluated. They don't get a business evaluation until they think about selling. And by then it's typically too late. We go to the doctor once a year to get an annual checkup to make sure our heart's still ticking, we're still kicking. We drive our car to the mechanic to make sure we get a tune-up on our car. But our most prized possession, our most valuable asset, which is our business, we don't get an annual valuation checkup. It's financial suicide. You need to know what your business is worth every single year, because there are events that increase valuation. There are events that decrease valuation. So let's say you want to sell for $10 million. Your business is currently worth $2 million. The next thing you need to know is, what is your time frame? Let's say you want to sell your business in 10 years. Now you have a start of a plan, but now you got to figure out, well, who's my buyers going to be? Notice I say buyers and not buyer. A lot of business owners come to me and say, Michelle, I have the buyer. You just need to represent me with this one buyer. And I say, no. And the reason I always say no is because there's a lot of work. We have to get your business together. We have to look at your financials. We have to make sure you're operating on all 6 cylinders. We have to collect all the items for due diligence. And we have to put it in a data room. That's a tremendous amount of work for one buyer, because I can assure you, in all likelihood, that one buyer is not going to close on the sale of your business. So plus, how can we ever maximize value if we and create a bidding war if we have a party of one? So we want to make sure that we can create competition. There's 5 types of buyers. 5 types. Most business owners don't even know that. They think there's one type. 90% of buyers are first-time buyers. They buy small businesses. They don't buy $10 million companies. They buy coffee shops and restaurants and ice cream stores. And then you have turnaround specialists. They buy distressed assets. They don't buy multi-million-dollar companies. You got PEGs, private equity groups. They buy larger type businesses. They base their business purchase on add-ons and platforms. A platform, and let's say they want to get into food manufacturing, they're currently not into food manufacturing. They won't even consider your food manufacturing business unless it has at least $3 million in EBITDA. But let's say they're in food manufacturing, they want to buy a seasoning company. They'll look at that seasoning company under $1 million in EBITDA for add-ons, but not for platforms. The 4th type of buyer is strategics and / competitors. Strategics and competitors pay the highest multiple because they're buying synergies. They're buying synergies that will help catapult their current business to the next level. Plus, they're taking advantage of economies of scale, which will decrease overhead. Plus, they're looking at the infrastructure of the company they're buying to see what they can cut so that they can decrease overhead and increase EBITDA from day one. The last type of buyer is a sophisticated entrepreneur. They're industry agnostic. They chase cash flow. So those are the 5 types of buyers. For your $10 million company, the last 3 will be the most interested in your business. Now you have to reverse engineer your plan, Joseph, and ask yourself, well, where do my numbers have to be?
You see, now I know why you write poetry and psalms for fun, because it's not just the rigor, but I think it's also, the health check as well. You talk about a buyer's sanity check and a seller's sanity check, but also I keep thinking in my mind the idea of a check up, getting your annual general physical, being able to stay on top of the business. Part of the roadmap as well, Michelle, is the fact that you need to know when you're off course, right?
Mhm.
You need to know when you've strayed off course. You need to know when there's a better course. You need to be able to get a sanity check as well. Talk a little bit about the buyers and sellers sanity check. And clearly, I think the implication here is it doesn't just work. It's not one-sided. It's got to work both ways, right?
Absolutely. And the annual valuation checkup includes part of the seller sanity check. It really does. So you got to get that annual valuation checkup, and you shouldn't go to your CPAs for that. You need to go to an M&A advisor that knows how to evaluate synergies. As far as a seller sanity and a buyer sanity, the seller sanity, I think it's our second or third chapter in Exit Rich, takes you through different exercises that you should do to really get crystal clear on what you want from the sale of your business. I help my clients prioritize what's the most important thing to them. Some is price, some is what they walk away with, because it's not about what we sell your business for, it's about what you walk away with. Some is making sure that their clients are taken care of, making sure that their employees are taken care of. Some is making sure that their legacy is going to continue to grow on. So we work with our clients to find out what's the most important thing to them, because a lot of clients will come to us, Joseph, and say, well, I want $10 million for my business. That's what it's worth. And I'm like, well, how do you come up with that? How do you come up with $10 million? And they're like, oh, well, that's what we need to retire on, or that's what we need to, to move on, or travel the world, or send 5 girls to college and pay for their weddings. They always figure out what they feel their business is worth based upon what they need. So we really sit down with them to help them figure out, what is it that you really need? If you're going to retire, what do you need per month? How long do you need that money to last? And we really try to figure that out so we can help them plan that GPS exit and figure out what their desired sales price is, because maybe they don't need 10 million. Maybe they really need $5 million if they invest correctly. And then we need to help them build that $5 million company.
But it seems like there's a good side and maybe a trap in terms of figuring out what your business is worth based on what you need.
There's always a gap. There's a gap between what the sellers feel like they want for their business, what they feel like they need, what they feel like it's worth, versus the valuation that I come up with. Most sellers overvaluate their business. Most sellers have unrealistic expectations of what their business is worth, because they base their business value on what they need versus what the value actually is. Buyers don't care about what you need. Buyers could care less about what you need to live on. Buyers care about value. They're going to pay for value, not for what you need. So I have to work with my sellers to bridge that gap to say, okay, your business is not worth $10 million. Maybe it's worth $1 million. So we really need to figure out, what is it that you need? What are your objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? And do you really need to sell for $5 million? Or can we accomplish the same thing with $3 million and get you to a $3 million price tag by fixing the 6 Ps, by increasing your profit, by putting you on the road to sell program?
I want to go back to the P of profit. You talk about the 10 biggest profit mistakes. And I really love this education in terms of the disconnect maybe sometimes, or the mismanagement of what the seller needs versus what the buyer needs. But could you talk a little bit more about these, the 10, not all of them, but just a couple of these profit mistakes that I guess sellers might make?
So what I like to do is talk about the profit mistakes at the same time, bringing you through the 6 Ps, because the profit mistakes tie into each one of the Ps.
Perfect.
So number 1 was people. We've already talked about people. One of the biggest profit mistakes, or the biggest mistake business owners make, is working in their business, not on their business. Creating a job that they go to work at every day versus a business that works for them. That is a huge mistake. If you don't have the right people in the right seats, and if you're not building a team, then you're never really going to be able to build a business that's sustainable, scalable, and sellable. All right. The second P is product. I'd like to give you a little bit of education on product really quickly because you made the comment earlier that startups are going out of business. And yes, that used to be true, but that's not true anymore. When I wrote my very first book in 2013 called Sell Your Business for More Than It's Worth, I did the research and learned that 95% of all startups will go out of business within the first 1 to 5 years. We all know that. That's what you mentioned earlier. That is true. However, things have changed dramatically. When I wrote Exit Rich in 2019, before the pandemic, I did the exact same research and was flabbergasted to learn that the business landscape has flip-flopped, completely flip-flopped. Now it's only 30% of startups are going out of business within those first 1 to 5 years. However, out of 27.6 million companies, those businesses that have been in business for 10 years or longer, 70% of those businesses are now going out of business. It used to be that you can be in business 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and you're golden. You're going to be in business for a very long time. That's not the case anymore. The media talks about the big public companies. Toys R Us in business 75 years goes out of business. Kmart, Steinmart, Pier 1, Godiva Chocolate going out of business, Disney stores going out of business, etc. But the media doesn't tell you about the private business owners on every street corner in every state and every town, every state across our great nation. These business owners are exiting poor. They're selling for pennies on the dollar, closing their business, and even worse, filing for bankruptcy. Here's the number one reason for that change. And this is where a product comes in. Business owners stop doing what I call AIM, A-I-M, lack of aim. AIM is always innovate and market. Business owners stop innovating. Business owners stop marketing. Business owners get married to the original concept. They're complacent. And they don't want to change. Toys R Us did nothing different in 75 years. Blockbuster sold Netflix. They had an opportunity to buy Netflix, and they did nothing. The number one reason that businesses are going out of business is because of lack of innovation. The second P is product. The biggest mistake that business owners make is not innovating. You have to ask yourself, is my product, my service, my industry on the way up or on the way out? Do I have an Amazon and I'm in my prime, or do I have a Blockbuster I'm about to go bust? So the biggest mistake the business owners make is they don't pivot. You have to ask yourself these 3 transformational questions. Amazon did this back in the 90s. Ask yourself, what business am I in? Amazon asked that, and they said, we're in a book fulfillment business. The second question you need to ask yourself is, what is your USP? What is your unique selling proposition? What is your core competency? What makes you different than everybody else? Amazon asked those questions, and Amazon said, we do fulfillment better than everyone else. So the third obvious question is, what business should we be in? What business should we be in? Amazon said, my gosh, we should be in a fulfillment business, fulfilling products for everyone all around the world. Those 3 simple transformational questions transformed Amazon from a small book fulfillment center to a multi-billion-dollar worldwide conglomerate that they are today.
And
so product is where people make a huge mistake by not pivoting and having one profit center, Joseph. You can't have one profit center. A restaurant, one profit center. They get paid by people coming in and eating or taking food out. They have no e-commerce business. They don't sell products. They don't sell anything that's unique to them. So when the pandemic hit, 10,000 restaurants went out of business like that. You have to have congruent profit centers. You can't have just one profit center.
Let me just touch on that. There's so many things in my mind, which and I love this. I love it because it feels, it feels like a game of pinball. And I think that also probably speaks to exactly what it is to be in business today. But let's go back to restaurants for a second. Great example that you just came up with. What could they have done? What should they have done? What did some of them do? And I'll fire off the first silo, which is, there were some restaurants that immediately rethink how not just delivery, right, e-commerce and delivery, but they actually rejiggered the entire menu mix, creating food items that transported well, that kept their warmth and kept the heat, and tasted as close to what it would have tasted like on the plate, plated in the restaurant, then compared to how it actually did taste, which is on your dining room table. What other examples come from the restaurant business of people that really did, that aimed smartly?
Yeah, so there's not a lot of them. There's a few of them. A lot of restaurants didn't innovate. They didn't pivot, and they're out of business, unfortunately. But Commander's Palace which is one of the most famous restaurants in the world, right here in New Orleans. Commander's Palace asked themselves that question: what business are we in? They're not in the restaurant business. They said, what business are we in? They said, we're in the connecting business. We make connections. We create experiences. We're in the experience business. What do we do really, really well? They said, what we do very, very well is connecting people and creating these experiences. So they said, what can we do during this pandemic? They said, we have a great sommelier. We can do a wine and cheese tasting. We'll send packages. We'll have people sign up. We'll send packages anywhere from $150 to $500, which includes wine and cheese, all packaged, with ice and stuff to stay fresh. We'll deliver it to their doorstep, and we'll have a Zoom. We'll have everyone on, and if they're not in New Orleans where we can deliver, then they can go to their favorite wine store, their favorite cheese store. They can participate. They can buy the package, and we'll create an experience on Zoom with our sommelier, and we'll have a wine and cheese tasting. That's unique. That's pivoting. They're doing what they do, which is creating experiences. And they had people, I was on one of their Zoom calls. They had probably 200 or 300 people on there from all over. They had a lot of people from New Orleans, but they had people from New York. They had people from California. They had people from Paris. They had people from London. And they had people from all over. So that's a perfect example of being able to think about, okay, what business are we in? What do we do better than everybody else? What should we pivot to?
That's a great example. And, I want to go back to this idea of your... even words matter, right? And how you and how you describe yourself as a business, and how you position yourself, and how you differentiate yourself. Let's talk about your book. Your book is called Exit Rich, as opposed to Exiting Poor. It just struck me that exiting poor is almost like going out of business. You got the exit, you sold the business, but you didn't win.
They are exiting poor because they're selling for pennies on a dollar.
Right.
That's exiting poor. They're closing their business. It's an exit. It's an exit. It's not a good exit, but they're exiting. They're closing their business. Many of them are filing bankruptcy. There were so many bankruptcies in 2019, way before the pandemic. I want to say there was something like 841,000 bankruptcies, maybe more. And that's definitely an exit. But that's exiting poor because you're losing your business assets, but you're also going to lose your personal assets because most business owners pierce the corporate veil because they commingle assets. So those are exiting poor. And the reason for that is because, again, they're not planning for their exit. They're not following a GPS exit model. They're not building a business that someone wants to buy. They haven't built their business to operate on all 6 cylinders, all 6 Ps. So the business isn't really worth much to anyone. So exiting rich, there's different. Remember when I talked about the seller sanity check earlier? Right. And I said, we sit down with our sellers to figure out and help them prioritize what's the most important thing to them. Is the most important thing what they walk away with? Is the most important thing making sure their employees are taken care of? Is the most important thing making sure that their customers are taken care of, that their legacy continues to grow? It's allowing them to afford the lifestyle of their dreams and finally be able to live the lifestyle that they've always dreamed about and enjoy the fruits of their labor. A lot of times we're not even selling 100% of the company. We might be selling 60%, 70%, 80%, and the owner gets that money. Plus they get to keep their benefits. They get to keep their salary, and they get to retain equity. And they get to be part of a bigger picture, part of a bigger dream. We're selling a company for $70 million right now, and our owner wants to retain some equity, and the buyers want them to stay on. But what is exiting rich for them is selling for that $60 to $70 million price range, because that is the value of their company, number one. And number two, keeping their employees. And he says to me, Michelle, I've grown the business as much as I can with my business acumen. I need a partner that has more business acumen than I do and deeper pockets. so that they can grow this to 100, 200, $300 million company. That's exiting rich.
In a nutshell, it is the difference and the important difference between price and value. I want to just add this from Tom Morris, and then we have a few moments left. And I want to make sure that we get to a bunch of things that you're doing that are pretty innovative. He said we had bars in town that early last summer during the shutdown started selling basic groceries and supplies, including the rare, highly sought after toilet paper. And if it was out, you could get a drink. A great way to flip the whole value equation, which is instead of coming in for the drink, maybe the drink was the, what you got when you didn't get what you hoped you might buy. I want to just touch in 60 seconds on this because you are an expert in M&A, and one of the most interesting acquisitions of late is this Amazon MGM acquisition. Not just Amazon buying MGM, but there's so many beautiful versions of this. But the actual thinking about buying movie theaters, I would imagine that in your line of business, especially when you think about the end in mind, that you've become really good at doing perhaps what Wayne Gretzky once said, which is skating to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. So just give us a little bit of a crystal ball. Where is it all heading with respect to Amazon? How big will they get? What is up next for them? What is the master plan that you can see?
I've always said, whoever makes it easiest for the consumer to purchase products and services is the company that's winning. Amazon is winning because Amazon makes it so easy to practically buy anything. You can practically buy a horse on Amazon and have it delivered to your house within 2 days. Amazon is making it easy for the consumers. Amazon is changing the way that we purchase products and services. And Amazon is going to continue. They're going to continue this growth. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think, buying Whole Foods was a huge move, was a big move. I sat next to John Malky, on the pitch tank when I was one of the judges on the pitch tank. I sat between Steve Forbes and John Malky. I think I'm saying his name correctly. And, that I sat next to him right before that Amazon purchased Whole Foods. I just think that they have a lot of foresight. They have a huge vision of where they want to go and how they want to continue to change consumers' buying habits.
So I'm actually on Amazon right now, and I just typed in horse just to see if, in fact, I could buy a horse. I can buy little baby horses, but I agree with you. It's just a matter of time before we see that happen as well. And it does come back to this idea, right, which is fulfillment, being in the fulfillment business.
One of the reasons that business owners are struggling right now is because they stop asking their clients, what do you need? What do you want? How can I make it easier for you to do business with us? They stop asking their clients, and Amazon is making it so easy. So business owners have to step up or step out. We're going to have to pivot. Target did that. Walmart did that right when the pandemic happened. Now, Walmart and Target wasn't delivering stuff to your front door. They are now.
Yeah, it's a golden question about ease of doing business. You, excuse me, you are making it very easy to do business with you. You have this amazing pre-order special. Would love for you to just tell people, why should they buy the book right now?
I love that transition. Thank you, Joseph.
You're welcome.
So just to give you a little bit of insight on Exit Rich, Steve Forbes endorsed Exit Rich, and it's a gold mine for entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs leave way too much money on the table when they sell their business. And Sharon Lechter is my co-author who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. She's a 5-time New York Times bestselling author. She's a CPA, financial literacy expert, and advisor to many different presidents. And then Kevin Harrington, the original Shark on Shark Tank, wrote the foreword. So why should people get Exit Rich? First and foremost, Exit Rich is not just about selling your business, because 80% of businesses are not sellable. Exit Rich is all about building that sustainable, scalable business. So when you're ready to sell, you actually have a sellable asset that you can sell for your desired price tag. And so the reason you should buy it now instead of June 22nd is if you go to exitrichbook.com for $24.79, which is less than Amazon, we will email you the digital download so you can start reading Exit Rich immediately. You don't have to wait till June 22nd. We have business owners that have printed out the PDF and are using it and incorporating it into their growth strategy, into their exit strategy. I had one business owner the other day that owns a pharmaceutical company. He said, Michelle, this is the best business book I've ever read. There's tips and strategies in here that I've never heard about before. And I want to hire you to sell our business between $30 to $50 million. Great case study. We're getting those kind of case studies every day. So we will email you the digital download immediately. We'll ship the hardcover to your doorstep for no additional shipping to anybody that lives inside the United States. We will give you a lifetime membership, Joseph, to the Exit Rich Book Club, where there's video content I may doing deep dives into some of these different techniques and strategies I've been teaching over the last 20 years, plus documents to operate your business, documents to sell your business, sample policy and procedure manuals, SOP checklist, employee handbooks. Joseph, we have sample letter of intents, purchase agreements, due diligence checklists, closing documents.
I am sold. In fact, I'm hiring you to sell my business. My expanding media empire of Joseph Jaffe is not famous. When I'm ready to sell it to the highest bidder and ready for that bidding war, I am coming and knocking. I'm coming a calling. I hope you will take my call. And if you look up on the screen, not only do you see Tom Morris's book, The Oasis Within, but you see my book, Built to Suck, about the inevitable demise of the corporation and how to save it. So if you're a large scaled company, you are in trouble. But if you are a small startup or a scale up or an upstart and you're looking to grow and you're looking to sell, give Michelle, not a Seiler Tucker, a call and buy the book. It was a real pleasure having you come in today, and please do stay in touch.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. I wanted to say one more thing. Not only do they get the documents, they also get a 30-day free membership in the Club CEOs, which is a mastermind where we do Q&As and hot seats and really help business owners to pivot, all for $24.79 at exitrichbook.com.
I mean, it's the best $24 anybody could spend.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
And that was the interview, and first time I've tried it out, and I have to say that was pretty cool. I think it worked pretty nicely, and I hope you enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed watching it back as well. There's certain things that you miss when you're actually in the moment, and then reflecting on it, as maybe you do when you're watching the show, has a certain benefit to it. Well, now it's time to get to our creator performer, and I'm about to introduce Shakur Nicely. Shakur Nicely, aka Shax Nice. He is a singer. He is a creator, and I'm going to bring him on in just a short moment. But first of all, I see Mr. Harold Kravitz is watching from Melbourne, Australia. I guess one of the advantages now of doing this at 9 o'clock at night, late night Jaffe, is that we get all the Aussies and all the Kiwis. So welcome, and I'm glad that you're watching every single night. Just to tell you very briefly, Shakur is a young singer from the island of Jamaica who decided to move to the US to chase his passion for music. Let's bring him on to the show. He is... I can see is ready to go. Shakur, welcome back, because you've been watching the whole time.
Yes, I have.
Listen,
I'm honored to be here once again.
Yeah, exactly. I have to tell you, first of all, let me give some details about him. You can follow Shax Nice on Instagram. I already am. You can follow him on Twitter. You can join him in the club. I think he's going to join us maybe tomorrow in our little reunion show. You can duet a sea shanty with him on TikTok. And most importantly, and I will put this up, if you want to give him a tip and show him some love, you can do that through Cash App or PayPal. You're going to be performing a song, Shakur. You changed it, and I'm so glad you did. It is a song by Moses Sumney called Doomed, and I would love for you, when you are ready, to take it away.
Okay, so hello everyone. I just want to say thank you once again to Joseph for having me here, because this is once again yet another avenue for me to put myself out there. Something that I've been trying very hard to do of late, and just to spread my talent to the world, and to see that he took the interest in me to having me on his show. And even though he says he's not famous, I mean, he is famous. But I'm very honored to be here, and I'll be performing Doomed by Moses Sumney. Moses Sumney is one of my favorite artists, and when I first heard this song, I was like, this is a song that I must sing. And this is a song that I sang in a competition on Clubhouse that brought me to the top 10. So here goes. This is Doomed by Moses Sumney. Hollow with inverted tongue, from whence does fulfillment come? When I expel from this mortal shell, will I die for living now? Am I vital if my heart is idle? Am I doomed? Am I vital if my heart is idle? Am I doomed? I feel you, but nobody else. Though you're someone I can't see, yet you'd say nothing of a stoic suffering that stirs lukewarm in me. If lovelessness is godlessness, will you cast me to the wayside? Will I feel the peeling of half-painted ceilings? Reveals the covering of a blank sky. Am I vital if my heart is idle? Am I doomed? Cry to me so I can see if I'm doomed. Am I vital if my heart is idle? Am I doomed? Cry to me so I can see if I'm am I vital if my heart is idle? Am I doomed?
got more. I got more. Manif says, "Wow, that was great," and I have to tell you that as I was watching you the second time, I was thinking to myself, "This is my purpose. This is my purpose to be able to have the privilege, the honor of just doing whatever I can, no matter how small or insignificant it is, to be able to give people that are so truly just naturally gifted like you a platform and a mouthpiece and a megaphone. That was just absolutely magnificent, and I just want to thank you again, and I will thank you for an eternity. Thank you, Shakora.
Thank you. Like my song says, thank you.
Well, you know what, you've got a song, and you didn't perform it, but let me see if I can try and do this for you.
Oh. I just wanna say thank you. I just wanna say thank you.
No, thank you
for giving me love, for picking me up, yeah, for giving me love. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for giving me love. I just want to say thank you, 'cause I needed it so much. Thank you for giving me love.
What a beautiful falsetto. Listen to his single out called Thank You on all music platforms. And stay tuned for his first single of 2021 coming out in a few weeks called Ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for Ready?
Y'all aren't ready, trust me. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for it. And it's so funny because the opportunity to create that new song came from Clubhouse, came from me putting myself out there. So I went into a room and I sang like I usually do, and people were going crazy and raving. And this lady took great interest in me and acted upon that interest by messaging me, setting up a meeting where we chose the beats, where we wrote and everything. And then I flew to New York and recorded the song, and the rest is history. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to share it with the world because I know they're going to love it too.
It's magnificent. Manif says, I thank my journey for getting me here today. Thank you, Joseph and Shaq's Nice. Let me ask you one final question. We have about 60 seconds left. When you look at where you are on your journey, how do you look at the next 3 months, the next 6 months? How do you feel about the future at this moment in time?
I feel sometimes, as humans, we question ourselves, but I feel so great about what is to come. I don't even know what is to come, but something in me feels like something big is going to happen where my whole artistry is concerned, because great work and motivation and determination is rewarded. And I have definitely been putting in the effort, the work, everything that needs to be put into myself to make me a better singer, better musician. It's hard because I work 2 jobs, so I have to try to balance that. That's why I be singing in Clubhouse as late as I do. But I still try to make it work for my dream and my passion. I mean, right now, music isn't paying the bills, so I need something else to pay the bills. But I will never stop singing. And I see great things for myself coming in the next 3 months with me actually writing for myself. And stuff like that I haven't been really doing. I'm learning a new instrument, the guitar. So yeah, I see great things coming in, and I'm excited. I don't expect it to be easy, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited for you too, and I think surely good things will only follow. Surely great things will only follow. And please, for those of you that are watching, follow Shakur and his journey, because it's a beautiful journey. He's a beautiful, beautiful human being, and you're super talented. And one of the questions as we fade out, we had a question that said, what happened to Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris is going to approve all guests. Well, you could not have heard from Chuck Norris because you hadn't heard yet from Shakur. And now that you have heard from him, here's what Chuck Norris has to say.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
There you go. Take care, everybody. I will see you in Clubhouse tomorrow and back on the show next week. Shakur, God bless, and thank you for that gift you gave us tonight.
No, thank you. God bless you all. Peace out.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show. And if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.